That's fine. Hey. Okay. Yes. Okay. Yes. Hi everyone. So I'm Joyce. I'm very honored to be part of this. I think what Yancong is doing is great. I love to share more a bit about my journey. So I think, for my company, which is called Between, I think BTWN. Ultimately, it started off because I saw a great need amongst especially a lot of startups and SMEs that they don't have huge budgets, and oftentimes the only option right now is like to look at the huge very big established social media agency or like PR agency. So there seems to be, I think, a gap. And for myself also, I think because I was previously in some corporate and then a startup as well, I realized that a lot of times for startups, the needs are very different. You don't have the budgets to outsource. A lot of times you need to just go on the ground and you have to work with very, very limited resources. So I think to me I find that to be really, you need, to be very effective and very intentional with what you do because of your limited time and your resources. So yeah, personally, I love that a lot because I find that marketing in that way, you really see the impact of what you do. Your marketing has to convert. You must get sales at the end of the day. You must generate revenue for your company. So I like that a lot because you see the impact of what you do. And also I like to work with founders because I find that when I hear the vision and I hear the reason why they're doing their business, it adds a lot of meaning to why we even do marketing. So I think for marketing in the first place, you definitely need to be proud of your own product or your solution. If you're not and you are not even convinced yourself, I don't think you should even be doing marketing. You shouldn't even be finding someone to do your social media if you yourself are not convinced of where your niche is and like if there's a product market fit. So I think very importantly, a lot of founders, they know that there is a need, but they cannot pinpoint exactly what is their unique selling point, and they cannot even pinpoint why they started their business, which I feel is a major starting point before you even go into like social media. Yeah. Yes, so I started. Sorry for the intense convo. Yeah. mm. 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 I try. Mm. Mm. Yes, we did. Mm. Okay, sure. Okay. Okay. Okay, great. So I mentioned just now like why social media is important, but before that, it's also important to know the why. So I think why I would say that is social media represents you want to make your offline persona. Like for example, if I meet someone in person, right, there's still a value in that. Like when it's someone important, we want to meet in person so that we convey, our personality, we convey like our vision clearly to that person. So social media is just amplifying who you are as a person offline. So for example, if your business already doesn't have much of a personality, it doesn't have much of a why and a vision, if you try to have a social media for it that it's just going to amplify nothing. Yeah, so it's just going to be a echo chamber. So you don't want to have that situation. I would only truly recommend social media for someone that has you have so much good things going on the ground. Yeah, you have a great message and you want to bring that personality online to make it more scalable and replicate yourself basically to lots of people online. Yeah, so I would say it doesn't have to be a perfect product, but as long as it's just one thing that you're really passionate about and you're very good at, I think that is good enough to get the ball rolling. So it's not about perfection, it's just about having a very clear vision, yeah, and a clear target audience that you want. Yeah, yeah. Mm. 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 Yeah. Mm. Yeah. Mm. Yes. Mm. Mm. Yes. Okay. Mm. Definitely. Oh, okay, sure. So, a lot of times I think, for bigger companies, it's more obvious, but even for startups and SMEs, I think the founders have their own personality and their own objectives, and then the whole company as well. So I think a lot of times at the start, it's like the same because you are like a one man show or maybe like just a small team. So I think it's really important when we talk to the founders, and you should separate that. Like maybe for a founder, they have just say they want to sell off the company or they want to be like super hype, yeah, like get all the. But then you talk to the marketing head and they're like, oh no, I just want like X number of leads this month and I'm very focused on my sales target. But then the founder's like, no, I want like just brand awareness, hype. I want like lots of like influencers. So you find that there's a difference there. So it's really important to get them both integrated and aligned. Like, okay, what's best for this next 3 months or 6 months? Yeah, so at least they have to be aligned on that so that before you even do social media marketing, you need to have clear objectives and KPIs and make sure that the founder, the decision maker, and the one that is maybe the one the marketing head has, collaborated on that. Yeah, so that's what I would say. Mm. Interesting. Smaller scale. Yes. SME is. Mm. Okay, to differentiate that. Okay. Yes, for SMEs, not maybe it's not so clear because it's one founder and usually his vision is the company's vision. So, but I think it's still important for them to be very clear. Like, all of them are just okay. I don't know. I just want to have more followers. I think it's very easy to say that I want more followers. But if you dig further down, deeper, it's actually like maybe it comes from, oh, I want to actually get investors to notice. I'm just saying as an example. So it really depends on your end goal. Like for example, if your end goal is really to eventually like sell your company, or maybe your end goal is to just go beyond Singapore, or maybe it's just Singapore. So I think it's important also to know where your positioning is from the start. And that depends a lot of times, of course, on the founder's own vision. Yeah. So I think, of course, if you're in transition, then you will be at a position where you want, someone else to also advise. So I think it really depends on each startup and what is their next season ahead. Yeah, what's their next step. Mm. Mm. Yes. Yes. Correct. Mm. 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 Oh, okay. That's a great question. Okay. So, sorry, just to back up a bit, I think I know your previous question was asking a bit on like the tone of voice. So, yeah, of course, before that, you have recognized like, okay, are you a company that wants to be positioned as very premium, or you someone that wants to be very accessible, very relatable? Yeah, so I think that's important. From there, then the next part is content pillars. So content pillars are, you don't want to have a social media account where you struggle to like, oh, tomorrow what should I post? And then like you realize, oh, like a random influencer tag me, I think we should post them. So, you become very reactionary. You're just reacting to situations that are happening. Or maybe like you have a new product, or you have something that's, yeah, it's very ad hoc. And because of that, right, customers are going to lose focus, and they're going to actually, be, yeah, like everything is inconsistent. Yeah. Or, for example, you're rolling out a new product line, and it's very tempting to just be, okay, the next 10 posts, let's just like put up all the benefits of this new product line, and then you're just spamming everybody with like products. So I think, how do you come up, as I said, with a method that's logical and that you can follow through, and that even if you do hire someone, that person can continue that process without constantly coming back to you and saying, oh, what should we post tomorrow? And constantly coming back to you for approval. So this is where content pillars come in. Okay, so you think of it as if you are like just a regular person, you have a schedule, right? You have days that you're like, okay, today is like my exercise is on Monday. Okay, then there's different pillars in your life. For example, you are a dad, you are you're a husband, you are a businessman, you are yeah, there are many facets of who makes you a person. So same for business, there are many facets of what makes up a business. So you have like your sales, obviously your products or your solutions. Then you have like your community, which are like your customers. You are people, it could be new ones or existing, like maybe even ambassadors. That would be like, of course, a closer community. Then of course you have your staff, so your own employees and, are actually a great source of content. But a lot of businesses overlook that. Yeah, so that's like your stuff. And then, you have other aspects as well. Like, for example, maybe like world trends. How does your company, ride along with what's happening in the world? So I would say these are like different facets of makes a business, which it's important to have all of them like written out clearly, so that you don't miss out on any one aspect. It's just like if you only focus on being like, a good businessman, then you forget about your role as a father, for example, and then you neglect that part. And it's actually the very thing that could make your customers find that you are interesting. Yeah, so that is explaining briefly what is content pillars. Yes. Yeah. Yes. Oh, good. Yes. Yes, I agree. Yeah, the process can seem very daunting. Like, oh man, like how do I come up with content for the next 30 days? So, traditionally, I would recommend though, like at least maybe minimum 2 weeks. Yeah, if possible, 1 month. It doesn't mean that every detail has to be ironed out. Like, oh, what I'm gonna write in a caption, everything. It's just more like the overall schedule. It's just like when you plan like, okay, every Monday is this, every Tuesday is this, every Wednesday. So say you have 5 content pillars, you should already start maybe lining up for the rest of the month, like which day rotation for these 5. You should also rank in priority. So for example, if your priority for this is where we link the objective with your content pillars. So how do you even pick your 5 content pillars depends on your objectives. Yeah. So for example, if your objective, right, is to engage your existing community, is very different from that and from getting new leads. Yeah, get what I mean? Yeah.
Because you have 5 pillars, assuming one big objective,
Yes.
is it 2 different topics? But then is it all aligned towards one topic?
I see. Okay. So, right, I would say that you have objectives and each content pillar meets several objectives most of the time. Yeah, so it's a little bit tricky. Okay, just as an example, you have many content pillars, right? Like just talk about okay, let's just talk about a brand. So for example, you are a cafe, right? Okay, just say you're a cafe. So for example, you want to feature your customers. So you want to feature like a mom who comes to your cafe, a student, and then different kind of customers, and some of the things that they like about it. So this this pillar, of featuring customers can have one objective is to engage your existing community, because like, wow, I always come to the cafe, but I realize now that, it's not just, I can invite my mom, I should, that it's not just a place for students. Maybe you feel, oh, maybe one day I'll be featured, I should come by to the cafe. It's such a vibrant community. So that's one. But on the other hand, an existing community could also be for brand awareness. So for example, like you feel that, oh, my brand is always positioned as a very transactional brand. I want to have a human touch to it. So if you see that objective is a little bit, it's slightly different, but it's also met through the same content pillar of featuring your customers and their testimonials. Yeah, so...
Also because if you can't afford to have someone that can plan, you just start doing your own strategy. I took the advice and I started doing free content on my own brand. So I try to do in three posts a week and 5 content videos.
That's great.
I noticed that actually something about branding last time I didn't have about now. Because I'm selling that involved between me and my wife. And I felt like it's quite needed. After thinking about that, I feel that my wife quite needed to be appearing on the platform to build this concept.
Yeah.
The reality. So it's not just doing but also kind of reflect that we are the people behind the brand.
Yes.
You kind of create this correlation, and I guess what I want to say is that I want people to see us and like, oh, that really something that I did, like,
yeah.
It's like, oh, these are the dating points that you always come. So it's something that can resonate.
That's really good. Yeah.
And they will feel like part of it.
Yes.
So I guess we need to more inviting
Yes. Yeah. Yes. Yes. Okay. Okay. I would say 1 month would be a good time frame. So I mean, of course it depends. Maybe at least you need to have 3 or 4 posts of that content pillar to gauge the response. So I mean, just a simple one. So say one of my clients, they had posted, so over a month, we realized that every Friday, for example, was called Founder Fridays, where they showed the story of the founder story, why they decided to do this, what keeps them going, and so on. And we realized that that every time we posted their face, especially in the store doing things, that it was the highest, in terms of the reach and also the engagement. So when these terms seem very complicated, but actually if you just have a normal Instagram for business or a Facebook page, business page, you can easily get these insights. It's readily available. When you just click on the the insights and analytics, you'll be able to see quite clearly. So I would recommend like maybe at least a month, and at least of each pillar, maybe you have 3 or 4 posts to make sure that it's not just like a one-off thing, but it's like consistently this pillar has been getting the most in terms of both engagement and reach as well. Okay. Yes. So I think, of course, very important for each business to define like what's considered a lead Yeah, and what's considered, firstly, what's your own personal KPI? So, for example, say for some companies, it's really more about, they need to convert to sales. So, for example, your lead qualification is that, oh, this person has like filled up a contact form and left their details. Yeah, so that could be one form of lead. Another company, you could define your leads as, oh no, they must like go through this process and they must come down into the store and purchase something, and that's considered a lead, a successful lead. So I think each has to define what's a lead to them. And then, of course, if you're talking about before, they come to a point of leaving their details or everything, there could be a secondary one, which is some just want to measure engagement and some want to measure reach. So engagement will be more of like, how many like they collate like aggregate all the likes, the comments, the shares, so any actions that people take, which means that this post is very compelling. It means that people are engaging, people are they're not just like, oh, just another post. Yeah, but reach is basically like you want that more for like just say it's a promotion. It's not about loyalty, it's just about we want as many eyeballs as possible. So yeah, so you have to decide for yourself which is most important to you at this current time. Yeah, what's your priority? Yeah, so it's quite, in a sense, specialized to what you specifically need to achieve. Yeah. Yes. Okay. Okay, I see. Traditionally, I would say Instagram and Facebook are quite somewhat similar in terms of the target audience. Of course, Facebook has a slightly older crowd, and then for Instagram, you have the additional Insta stories, which now it's also integrated into Facebook stories. But I think I would generally, if you are also short on resources and manpower, just allocate whatever you post on Instagram. You can immediately just auto share on Facebook. Of course, for Facebook, you have to format it to make sure that, because say Instagram, the dimensions is different. Facebook, you can do multiple pictures, whereas Instagram is a swipe. Yeah, so all these things you also need to reformat. But I would actually, to save time and effort, use the same content for both Instagram and Facebook. Generally, with just some tweaks to it. I think Instagram is very good for their Insta story function, where you can do polls, you can do a lot of like campaigns where they just reshare, because people, I think, are generally less cautious about using their Insta story, because it just disappears after 24 hours. You don't have to curate it, you don't have to make it very nice. So if you do any campaigns on sharing, Insta story is great. People are very willing to do that. I would say Facebook, it's on the other hand, the plus side of Facebook is that people are very willing to share posts, because unlike Instagram, where you have to have a perfect feed of all your perfectly curated squares, right? Facebook is more like, it's just continuous. So even if I shared a random deal on my page, it's fine. Yeah, so also the mentality behind that, we noticed that people are willing to share random promotions and deals as a Facebook post, but they're not willing to share it as an Instagram post, but they're willing to do it as an Instagram story. So, what I mean? It's just, we have to understand the psychology of also, people, and how curated their feeds are. Yeah, so there's just something interesting. Yeah.
Because for me, what I do is quite mistaken. But I didn't know what to say. I feel like because I have I feel like Instagram is quite helpful in the sense that it tells you like, it's actually doing better than you can propose.
Yes.
From there, you can kind of like take through and kind of define how much you want to invest in terms of at least you know that this is something that resonates.
Yes.
So you can kind of use more of a common sense to use it as a mental tool rather than having some steps to tell you some of the data that Facebook can help you. Of course, if you want to have more use for people that just started, do you think they should
Okay. Actually, I personally will not recommend using ads immediately, especially if you do not have a consistent as I said, like consistent content strategy and a consistent personality online already. Okay, reason being it's like I would say ads are great to amplify. In fact, I wouldn't even recommend doing an ad unless you have a very clear call to action where there's a very low barrier to entry. So, for example, it's just a normal promotion saying like okay, like yeah, $2 off or something like that. It's fine, but it reaches a lot of people. But I feel that there's no call to action. It's like okay, cool, $2 off. I'll go down to the store and get it. But I would say that if you want to do such things, you should really have a very clear mechanism on how you're going to convert them to say like your existing page, share it. And if your page is like blank or there's nothing consistent on your page, you're going to direct so many people there, and then they're going to see something that's half baked. And and also a lot of times for Facebook, they'll target people like similar to your followers. So a lot of times you can click the option to like target people who are similar to the profile of your existing followers. And if your existing followers are just like randoms, because you haven't been building up a consistent branding, then they're going to target a lot of randoms. Or if the people that are following your page are only there for freebies, then you're going to target similar kinds of people that are not actually following you because they like your product and they're loyal to your brand. So I would say it's always better to build up consistency and also the clear personality using a content strategy online first, at least for like maybe 1 or 2 months minimum, and then start doing like one-off ads, which are more to like amplify who you really are already, and then you direct people into who you are. Yeah, rather than like you have no personality and then you like keep shouting about things, and then when they come there, they're like, oh, it's just like nothing impressive. Yeah, so you want to be ready before you launch something like that. I personally feel that. Yeah.
Okay. Because, from what I know, like if you
Yeah.
because, okay, when you say one off ad, do you mean like is there gonna be a call to action for this kind of ad, or
Okay.
just some random thing that you feel like is worthy because of a lot of views and you can start to
As an ad. Okay. Again back to what's your objective. So of course if it's like a campaign, like for example, it says a video campaign. And there's not really a clear call to action. It's more like you want to tell a story of someone, and then you just want them to, oh wow, I want to know what happens next in the story. So they watch the next video content. So it's about a series of video contents. Then that is slightly different because I would say it's a lot on more of like, the branding, and it's a bit more of like building up, putting your name out there of who you are. Of course, there will be a call to action that is like way further down after they come to your profile. Then maybe they realize, oh, actually, you also sell this product and so on. That's one way. But I would say that one is not so clear in terms of the ROI. But of course, a very, very clear one I would say are things that a lot of, especially like if you're retail or F&B, that they will do is, the kinds that have very no-brainer kind of deals. Like for example, like if you like and you share and you follow the page, as long as you share it, you show your screen when you walk into the shop, and you definitely will get like $5 off, or you will definitely get 1 for 1, or you will definitely get it. So this is a very clear call to action, and it's a very low barrier to entry. So I would say then that bridges the offline and online part of your business. Yeah, so if that makes sense, it's like there's something, I wouldn't boost like a random post about, hey, we just launched a new product. Okay, boost it. But who cares? Like I look at the product, I'm like, okay, cool, good for you. But is that going to make me walk down to your shop? No. Is that going to make me buy it? No, it's not going to make me buy it as well. Yeah. Like, okay, service. So, okay, like just say even videos for wedding videos, right? I would rather, instead of just boosting one of your posts, which is like an existing throwback of a recent wedding that I did, I would I would rather boost something that is like, okay, we can show a video of a recent thing you did, and then at the end or quite early on, you hook them in saying that, if you comment below under this video and say how much you love your partner or something, then you will already get like 20% off or something like that. So there's a very clear call to action rather than, oh, cool video, nice, okay, I will put you on a shelf until like maybe 6 months later when, but instead of this time, you're forced to like leave your details or something like that. Even if you don't need the service right now, but you have left your details or you have like done some action, then you definitely gain more than this person just viewing it and just going on with their lives. Yeah, so I think very important to have a clear call to action. If you're really going to spend money on an ad, make sure that you do get something out of it. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, even if it's very small, like like, hey, like tag two friends that you think should benefit from this, or like it's just something like that. But I feel that if there should be a call to action with each. Yeah, I mean, I would say, for example, like, definitely if you're hiring someone, job ad, yes, promote it, because it's very clear. It's a clear benefit. I want people to apply. So anything to do with applications, anything to do with sign-ups, applications, yes, you can do an ad. I think those are good. It's very clear. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, of course, like, not all ads have to appear as posts, if you realize that, actually. Yeah, so there's a way to run an ad actually on Facebook and Instagram that it doesn't appear in your news feed, in your actual feed. So it won't seem that, like, you're just spamming everyone. So it just appears rather like, yeah, when you browse, then it appears, but it's not on your actual feed. Yeah, so I think that's fine. I mean, I think those are more invisible, but it really, again, depends from case to case. Yeah, I would say for myself, maybe at the most like 2 a month, but honestly I would tend to not overload people with them unless it's a very special occasion, like opening promo. Okay, this festive season, there's a reason for it, then I would push that out. Otherwise they may get fatigued with it. Okay, I think if it's something that's really, as I say again, a no-brainer, which means that people don't need to think, and they see it, they definitely, because again, ads, I would say, is to reach people that are not your typical existing customer base, which means that these people do not have brand loyalty yet. You're just hooking them in purely based on like that short thing that they're looking at, and they just feel like, okay, I don't really know your brand, but I'm going to try it out because your thing looks attractive. So these are people that they're like so-called like unqualified, like in a sense you don't really know. So I would say that only when you have certain things that you want to start expanding, like you want to bring a sudden influx, whether it's, I would say, I will write on like festivals, I will write on like maybe a new launch or something, or something not your typical day-to-day kind of like content. Once a month. Not necessarily. So again, depends what's your content, your pillars. But say one of your pillars is on the the product itself or the service itself, and for that month you're attaching a special discount to it, or you're attaching a value add. Like, say, okay, instead of our usual package, we're doing this, and we're giving you X number of things free, like a new extra thing inside. We're giving you this extra. Then yes, it could be part of the content pillar, but it's with an add-on. But I would say that your day-to-day content pillars, the normal ones, like you're featuring your customers, you're featuring what, I wouldn't usually throw an ad randomly unless there's a special call to action at the end, a special add-on, to it. Yeah. Yes. Definitely. In fact, like, for example, just sharing, I would feature a lot of faces. I would feature a lot of lifestyle. So for example, if you could take the product or your service in your shop, I would actually prefer for things to be shot outside, which means like in how it's being applied and integrated in your daily lifestyle. Yeah, personally, I would say that is a lot more genuine, a lot more authentic than if I see your products are all nicely in the same, like, very like showroom studio kind of thing. I think that it looks very clear that it's just like a catalog rather than like someone, how they integrate it in daily life. Yeah, that's just more a tip, more on the aesthetic side. Yeah, and it definitely, you don't have to at the end say, come to our store and buy, or like get yours today. But the way that you do at the end could be more of like, oh, hey, you know, create your moment. Like, you know, something more subtle. And that goes with if you have an image of someone, a face, you have an image of a story of someone, and then at the end, it's a bit more subtle. Yeah. Then it matches the image. Yeah. If you know what I mean. Yeah. 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 Yes. Mm. Okay. Again, by marketing, you mean really to generate leads? I mean, that would be the main spread your reach. Okay, understand. So I think again depends existingly. Do you even have any branding? Or I mean, I assume that most businesses have some kind of branding. I mean, even if it's just like a very simple logo or very simple colors, you at least have like one color scheme. Um, I would say a lot of companies just assume like just because of a logo, I've done my branding. Right. I think that's a common thing. Like, oh, I got one logo, I got one website. Okay, I've done branding, which I think that is not really branding because it's like the same as saying like, oh, I don't know, like I wear t-shirts, so therefore I have a personality. It doesn't mean anything. It doesn't mean you have a personality just because you wear something. So it's more of like drawing out. So I would say that every brand has a personality, but hasn't been drawn out. Yeah. So sometimes because of the needs of the company, you have to do it concurrently. Not every company can like, okay, let's dedicate like 1 month to do our branding. Understand that your business has to continue and you have to keep generating revenue. So I would say that if you're doing a rebrand, like say you already exist, I mean you've been going on for some time, yeah, don't switch off like your marketing. You can still keep it going like while you do a rebranding. Yeah. So obviously there is some time to switch over. So it shouldn't be so abrupt like all your old kind of content and then suddenly it has a whole new look. But I would say you should leverage on maybe an occasion. So say while you're doing your normal ongoing marketing, you're doing a rebrand. So say you have new brand colors, you have new personality, your tone of voice has changed, you have new content pillars. Then I would say write on something that has maybe a occasion like, oh, we open a new store and with that we want to like whatever, or 2020, you know, like whatever, or like mid-year or something. Just use something or like Chinese New Year. Okay, you know, we want to like revamp. So maybe to signify that change in things, you may even want to do like a series of posts like countdown or like something that breaks away from your old style. But yeah, you just gradually ease them into it. Yeah, and then you make use of something as a so-called excuse. I mean, you don't actually need to have an excuse to rebrand, but it's all about serving the customers better. So you must always make it clear that, hey, we want to bring you more value. We want to like bring more smiles to your face. And so we decided to have more colors. Then you have like slowly or we decided to like introduce you a new personality, which is maybe like the staff member. Like, hey guys, all along we've been providing you really good services. Now we want to show you who are the people behind it. Then you start to like have a series which you showcase the faces of your staff. Example. Yeah. See, so yeah, yeah. Okay. Yeah. Oh, okay. Oh, that's great. That's true. Yes. Mm. 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 Yeah. Yeah. Mm. 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 Kind of. It's About 2 years plus, yeah, 2 years plus, 2.5 years. Mm. Okay. So of course, yeah, each business depends on your industry. So, but because mine is more in a creative, like a creative agency kind of thing, I think, but I would say the same issue will apply in terms of again, people. I think people are the biggest asset you can have invest in, and also if it's mismanaged, it could be also your greatest like pain point. So I would say that failure, but I would, yeah, it has to do more with expectations management. So, like for example, if the scope is not clear, so I think I did have a previous client that I didn't define the scope very clearly. So, both sides like assume that okay, you know this and that, and then of course as an agency you are like kind of like stuck in the middle because then you maybe have like people that you hire, you know, for certain aspects of this project. So I think that comes a point when you don't know, is the client asking for too much, or am I, you know, should I like put that demand on people that's in my team, or should I say draw the line, tell the client no, we cannot do it because I don't think we can handle it, and protect the welfare of your team. But on the other hand, yeah, I would say that it's a tricky process because you want to grow your team and you want to expand their capacity. You cannot just always be on the safe side like no, we cannot handle it, you know, then you will never grow. So I think would say not say a failure because I don't really believe that you can really fail. It's always you learn. Yeah. So, but if I were to say, I think that was definitely the transition, the hardest part to get over, which was finding out, yeah, like both sides, really taking time to understand them, you know, both your team and also the scope of your client. So I would say back to expectation management. Yeah. So I think that was quite bad because basically I had to like, you know, really, yeah, do a bit of like even like counseling, like find out, okay, is my team member okay? Why are they not motivated? Why are they not doing it? You know, and then again for the clients, I had promised something that too much for this amount of money that they're paying, but because I had done it, I pretty promised it, I had to deliver it. So of course at the start you definitely will have a situation where yes, you lose resources and you end up having to spend energy that you didn't want to. Yeah, so I think that was, I would say, one of the failures, that I didn't realize the amount of effort needed for something and I just overpromised. So I would say, yeah, learning from that, I am a lot clearer now about having very clear processes, very clear scope, and over communicating every step of the way. So even if, yeah, like my clients, they don't say anything, I would always throw the ball back to their court, constantly bombard them even with clarifications on what they really want. Yeah, so that we don't ever come to that situation where it's very messy. Yeah. Yeah. Yes.
I can really sense the command. Usually I people understand right now, but I don't know
Yeah.
why what's the real reason of doing it. I guess it's justifiable because I haven't had the chance to work in such a team. I don't know how many people there are.
Like small teams still. Yeah, 4 to 5.
I think I help like this day. Whenever we come here, this is something that is always kind of like put you on the mind, like put your name on kind of brand of your client trust you. Because overpromising is something that is quite I see people who say you have to when the product that
Yeah.
we might talk about really all the application. I work with other tutors and the result was actually feedback from my clients saying that doing tutors didn't match so there's a little bit of like playing with manpower, which are like
Yeah.
how you plan a project. Definitely a team company, more or less you have to be it when
Yeah.
the intern or even help that so you have to keep their specialty how good their quality is before you tell the team to
Yeah.
on certain role or this requirement. So maybe another thing like what's the most passionate
Most passionate. I think definitely will be talking to the initial part, talking to the founder. Yeah, finding out their vision, finding out, what I really love when I see gaps or I see like a lot of potential that is not being tapped upon. So I really, really get very excited when I see that this business has a great message that's not going out there. So I think this goes both ways in terms of seeing untapped potential, whether it's for the client or even for my team. Maybe I see that there's a raw gem, like one of my hires or an intern is like has like a bit of skill but a very good attitude, and I feel like I want that person to really try and expand themselves. So I think to me the most like fulfilling part is to help either the client or my team to realize potential that they didn't even know existed. So helping them to discover and unlock existing resources they have already. Yeah, instead of always trying to like find new ones, but I would say more of like, can you rediscover like the goal that you already have, and how can we bring that to the surface? How can we like tell a better story for what you already have? Yeah. Yeah. Biggest myth. Yeah, I think definitely for sure one of the biggest myth is that that it's all about like likes, and it's all about just like I just need to like post 3 posts a day. I just feel that some people have an impression that, I mean, on one end that like just whatever, I'm just gonna keep posting and I just want to boost likes, and like likes will come overnight, and like we can just buy likes, we can buy followers, like and you can just like blast out ads and get a lot. So I think there's that misconception, and I feel that instead want to actually combat that myth, instead of going back to the why. A lot of people are asking like how, but I feel that before you even do anything, you need to have a very clear why. So that's from my side. Yes. Oh, it was good. But on the other hand, public space, But on the other hand, sorry, another myth is that social media is very difficult and it's very, 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 very hard, and you need like professional like Photoshop and whatever. And the answer is no, you do not. Yeah.
I think you just need to know like the why,
Mm.
and you need to know like why we are there to do the work that we want to do, so that we can focus on the goals. Because everybody at this point should know like what to do. But we are there to tell you like how to do it. And if you want your blood to kind of like want to know like to talk to the person that we see have potential. So we in the social media too, even the marketing aspect, we are there to help them. So I think sometimes a lot of people just feel like we are like we get us to this situation, we are telling our purpose in life. So we are trying to work with them. We feel like we are against them. Because we are like a stranger.
Like an outsider, yeah.
They don't want to open up for us
To assist.
And they always feel like they really know everything to them to them.
Yeah.
Being a little tough.
Sometimes.
So we need a bit of like educating them. Giving this chance is good to use this platform to really like educate
Yeah.
why we do what we do. And because we do it and we know that we don't do this kind of certain things, even though like you're going through, but you might not do it, but that's what you think.
Yeah, agree. I think sometimes I would even tell them that you don't need like a full out social media strategy at this point, because maybe at that point of the business they need more like B2B, like go down, meet people and invest more into like sales and account management. It's slightly different. So again, I wouldn't have prescribed a one size fits all, but really assess the situation. But to assess the situation, you must, as I said, they must be willing to have a conversation with you and not just prescribe you like, yes, you must post 3 times for me and I must have this. So I think I don't really like the prescriptive approach, and I think it doesn't help anyone. It should be more open discussion. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay. I would say definitely a big thing is to just try. But I think necessity is the best teacher. So for sure, a lot of times if you see a need, that's great because now you have a chance to learn on the job. Yeah, so just get your hands dirty. Go for it. Try. See the response. If it's not good, yeah, you have every day you can post a new post a few times a day. I mean, like don't be afraid of just creating. Yeah, I think that is the main thing. So yeah, because you don't need like a degree to do social media, honestly. Yeah, you don't. Yeah. Yeah. Mm. Mm. Yeah. Mm. Yes. Okay. Yes, for now, I mean, we can go to between.global, btwn.global. So you can just get in touch there. Yeah, so our social media is under revamp. So we're too busy helping people build theirs. So ours is, right, same for you, right? Yeah, it took a while. Yeah. Yes. Yay, yes, yes. Yes. Yeah.